subway shooting in Brooklyn happening not far from where the Nets were practicing ahead of a pre-playoff game tonight at the Barclays Center. Sports anchor Ryan Field is in the newsroom with their reaction. Ryan.
Standard for the Nets, the day started off like so many before it. They were back on the practice floor preparing for tonight's play-in game against Cleveland when the fallout from another act of gun violence became an all-too-familiar reality. Only this time, it was just steps from their front door. Many of the Nets were arriving or had already arrived inside their sunset. Subway ridership, we know, already down, and today's shooting rattling more nerves among riders. We're going to talk about that. Coming up to the left side. Yeah. NYPD aviation, is it possible that you guys can climb a little higher? Number 4 will ask him if we can hire for it. Thank you. Likewise, I'm fine out safe and ready up on your own. Thank you, appreciate it. Good night. Crime in the New York subways already causing huge hesitation. Riders ridership still at the 50 percentile of what passenger count was pre-pandemic. And without people using the subways and going to work, not from home, but at work, the chances of a full economic recovery post-pandemic are severely hampered. Former NYPD Commissioner Bill Black, tough approach to crimes on the subway helped cut crime on the subway. Today, 2 years ago, about 3 factors apprehension not going to alleviate growing crime here problem for the particularly now in the subway. Still relatively small amount of crime in that.
Yep. Another movie.
No, down, you. No, yeah, you. Down. I'll just squeeze. No, come. I can squeeze. I'm skinny as fuck. You can do it. What am I looking at? Joey, you're looking that way. You're looking at your 2 o'clock. Straight down the street, 2 o'clock that way. What if I just get up here a second? Straight by 2 o'clock. Heads up, moving. Okay.
Backing up, right? Why they're backing up right now?
I just saw the Brooklyn Bridge.
See this line here, the imaginary line that's here?
You saw a bridge.
I don't have to take it. I just told you. You already know. You're an adult. You should understand, right?
Around this area.
My man, because like 3 times I'm telling you the same thing. You don't listen. You're the only one. So comprehend. You're an adult. You're a child. Get off good. Be a safety, huh?
So they're hunting them around the 10. They don't know that. They're looking. See, if we was, there's no way we're going to be able to get around the river. That block is the street's blocked off entirely. We'll never be able to see it. See the license plate being burned.
Hopefully, like,
From like the helicopter shot or something. Somebody's got to be able to cooperate, cross lines. I'd also like to make the point that we are within a blast radius.
100%.
Yep.
Well, also, that
Is any
fire waves, shit like that. Like, I'm worried about him before other mosquitoes spraying close to land, not him having egg that entire night on C2.
C2, the classic 1970s plastic explosive. Right?
You know the deal with this, the neighbor saw the man called 911. I don't know how they get from 5 minutes span. Yeah, it was supposed to be 4
Hey, Brendan just told me to ask Eduardo, hey, that there's an active helicopter on Citizen that's been looking at it this whole time. Are they looking at the same one? He just sent me the link on Citizen. I can send it to you. I can't view it because I didn't have Citizen loaded.
He sent me something. But you can't. They're looking at the helicopter, not looking at the net.
It looks like the chopper left.
We've already done this, so.
Well, they do have to refuel.
Well, that's just a random use.
It could just be a random U-Haul.
That's what I
And
think.
we're all here just foolishly.
Somebody just like, oh, there's a U-Haul here.
Eduardo's walking fast with intention.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just walking really quickly.
Told him I
Usually when you do that, things get exciting.
said, okay. And then Zach left.
Yeah, I saw him last time. It was good to see him.
You think the bomb squad would have already been I have a feeling that bomb squad can get through traffic, dog. If my Subaru can get through traffic. You saw it, Joe?
Yeah, I was coming up Ocean Parkway. You might have to wait for a search warrant. You gotta get a warrant.
How early did you get here, Joe?
I got here like 10 minutes ago. A lot of traffic.
Yeah. think this is it? Nah. Maybe not. Okay, I'm gonna come down from my little perch. I don't think I need to do that anymore. I mean, being honest, with the birds and the nice weather and the sun, I mean, it's nice. I don't necessarily want to be standing there, but since I am, so it could be worse. My company's okay. These are my friends.
Like-minded folk.
I'm not usually the positive one. So they're going off of a receipt they found on the subway.
I didn't see they put out a name. They just said that it was on this one.
Should have asked the little city police. Oh yeah, they have. We were saying it in the car. They have probably no leads. Yeah, and it's whatever they can figure out right now. It looks like he's about to posing for the cover of his first rap album. You spread your legs that far like that. I don't think this is. I think this is absolutely beautiful. What's he gonna say? I mean, the tip-off was when they didn't have that sex oppressor, when they had it scheduled. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, it's not going to be here. Of course it's not going to be here, because they don't have anything to say. Yeah. Do we have a name? We got a name or hang on 1 second. They're going into this building and they're posted up on the other building, which means they have even less of an idea. Hang on, I can't hear you. They also have to make sure that anybody in those apartments is clear out. Well, I was trying. Wisconsin? What's in Wisconsin?
Hey. Good morning. Okay, yeah, it just came up. Are they already rolling on your you see me or should we It was originally called Subway. You're looking at the okay.
You're okay, right?
Okay, yeah, that's,
I won't be standing.
Short term.
That's been turned off. Okay. I am short. If I were standing on my toes, it might be aimed at me. Yeah. Apparently that's been pointed out already, and we've been told it can't be changed. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
You guys have cell phones, please?
please put them on silent, please? Or vibrate, whatever. Make sure just go off on the president. Thank you. Is this a 2 minute warning? No, no.
Testing 1, 2. Testing, testing, testing.
You're right here for a minute.
Testing, 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 testing. This is a test. It is only a test.
Everyone good on audio? Good? 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 You got it. All good?
Test, 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 test. This is merely a test. If it was not a test, I would not be here.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Good?
Oh, really? Yeah, I grew up way that lives out there. And I think one of the servers rented out an apartment for my friends. 119.
Yeah, it should be. Right.
I never would stay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to all the screens? All the screens, everybody's on TV, everything, we're all gonna see the mayor? Yeah. Pick it up in Times Square. Universal message. Me, Mayor, I'm omnipresent. I wanted to remind you today.
Yes.
I'm going to talk this guy out of this. Give me a couple years.
Check, check, check. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Check. Louder? Mic check, mic check. Loud mic check. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. It's a mobile.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. ABC. I haven't got an update yet. Just
I'm like, no.
all right, we're going to test the audio one more time. How am I on my left? On my left, News 12. On my left, okay. On my right-hand side. Pix 11 with the hash marks. You got me. Thank you, Bill.
Maybe I'll my heart soon.
I will send out a tweet.
Yeah. In the car.
Exactly. Who would have done it?
His bike on the car.
That's the best use of a C-stand I've ever seen.
I'll read that thing.
Yeah, I didn't think I would be ready for that. Is it nice? Oh, nice to marry. Of course. Another one.
The water out there is like, even worse. He's looking for one. Oh, fuck. Did they just grab the gun? They grabbed the gun?
I was actually like my scene today was like disorienting.
Oh no, he's already.
I was chaotic. I mean, if I'm gonna press now, I was at a hospital sitting there. So they don't have the abrasive answer like that.
It's like into the window. He took a picture of the mayor in the window that I haven't seen.
Journalist chops never stop.
It's just the mayor sitting there. It's kind of noisy. Are you gonna take pictures of him now to the screen? You're gonna wipe out the screen?
Oh, yeah, like overnight. I was just talking about that. The cameraman from, yeah. He got a new guy out of Black Knight. Yeah. He's not working on it anymore. Yeah, no, it's just, well, as long as it's not on TV. Oh, I'm in control. It's one of those things like no one even I mean, his arrest is really like news today. I saw that hand.
What? I got this. So, Mike, the system was famous with us.
She's like a no, I know. I do that. No, Godfrey. Yeah, Arlene. They did a documentary. This is our like, you know, like definitely out there, like 70s.
I mean, I have to have an interview about that. Yeah. Yeah, you're running scrambling. Someone with a wand. Wait, go through it again. Go through it again. Yeah. I wouldn't have done something. I don't know why, but I like still my it's like emissary counterterrorism. That's what it was like. Fictional, just come up I just did it because I saw him running out of painting and stuff like that. I forget what I did. Technology is supposed to make everything fast. Sitting around like a bunch of guys. They're working on that.
haven't seen it. Well, they now have a team. Commissioner went down with them.
Suffolk County Homicide Squad, released deal with the real.
When are you gonna write? Nobody worries you guys. Well, of course you can. We'll get to writing now, so you don't forget it.
Yes, sure.
What would you call it?
Guys, 2 minutes, all right? 2 minutes. Sound check, sound check. Sound check. Sound check, sound check. All right. Guys, make sure your cell phones are on vibrate silence, please.
Disable chat on it.
Going out. see us? Okay, how are you?
Oh, yeah.
They call it your ass, huh?
He's looking out the window. It's like sending notes in his car. I'm right behind you.
Yeah, do me a favor. I was gonna say, keep your job. You can end up on the unemployment line for about 10 minutes.
Good to go? Good to go? Yeah. Good to go. Here we go.
Good evening. I'm John Miller, Deputy Commissioner for Intelligence and Counterterrorism. We're here to provide an update on the ongoing investigation into the shooting that occurred earlier today in Brooklyn. We're going to hear from Police Commissioner of the City of New York, Keyshawn Sewell, Chief of Department Ken Corey. We have First Deputy Commissioner Ed Caban here. Chief of Detectives James Essig will update us on the investigation. We also have Assistant Director in charge of the FBI, in charge of the New York office, Mike Driscoll, and the JTTF efforts with the NYPD that are ongoing, as well as the Special Agent in charge of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, John DeVito. But we'll begin with word from Gracie Mansion from the Mayor of the City of New York, Eric Adams.
We can't hear him. He's talking. We can't. He's talking, but we cannot hear the mayor. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for your patience.
We're having an audio difficulty, so what we're going to do is regroup here. We're going to cut to the police commissioner, and when we resolve the audio problem, we'll bring the mayor back.
Okay. Thank you all for attending this evening and helping us get this information out to the public. It's so important. We are truly fortunate that this was not significantly worse than it is. As we reported this afternoon, a man who was traveling on a Manhattan-bound N train opened 2 canisters that dispensed smoke throughout the subway car. He then shot multiple passengers as the train pulled into the 36th Street station in Sunset Park. 10 people were injured by gunfire, and an additional 13 were either injured as they rushed to get out of the train station or they suffered smoke inhalation. Some good news is that none of the injuries appear to be life-threatening. As detectives processed the crime scene, they recovered a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, extended magazines, and a hatchet. Also found is a liquid we believe to be gasoline and a bag containing consumer-grade fireworks and a hobby fuse. About an hour ago, detectives located a U-Haul van in Brooklyn that we believe is connected to the suspect. At this time, we still do not know the suspect's motivation. Clearly, this individual boarded the train and was intent on violence. We are conducting a highly coordinated investigation that includes NYPD detectives, the FBI NYPD Joint Terrorism Task Force, and the ATF, who have been instrumental in tracing the firearm and ballistics. The suspect is a dark-skinned male and was wearing a neon orange vest and a gray-colored sweatshirt. We do have a person of interest in this investigation, but we need the public's assistance with additional information. We're asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS. We know this incident is of grave concern to New Yorkers. We cannot lose sight of victims in this city. We will use every resource we can to bring those to justice who continue to prey on the citizens of New York. I'll ask Chief James Essick to come in and give details of the investigation.
Good evening, everybody. Today at 8:24 a.m., aboard a Manhattan-bound N train, 10 people were shot, 7 males, 3 females, and they were removed to area hospitals. An additional 13 people suffered injuries related to smoke inhalation, falling down, or a panic attack. The information I'm about to give you is preliminary and it's subject to change right now. As that N train was between stations 59th Street and the 36th Street stations, seated in the second car in the rear corner was a dark-skinned male. Various descriptions of his height are given. He is heavy set, wearing an orange-green nylon-type construction vest. He also had on a gray hoodie, a surgical mask, and a neon green construction helmet. As the train approached the 36th Street station, witnesses state the male opened up 2 smoke grenades, tossed them on the subway floor, brandishes a Glock 9mm handgun. He then fired that weapon at least 33 times, striking 10 people. The male then fled the scene, and detectives are actively trying to determine his whereabouts. Recovered at that scene was a Glock 17 9mm handgun, 3 extended Glock-type magazines. 1 was still in the weapon, 1 under a seat, and 1 in a backpack. We had 33 discharged shell casings, 15 bullets, 5 bullet fragments, 2 detonated smoke grenades, 2 non-detonated smoke grenades, a hatchet, a black garbage can, a black milk type style rolling cart, the gasoline, and a U-Haul key. The U-Haul key at the scene led us to the recovery of a U-Haul van a short while ago in Brooklyn. The male, who we believe is the renter of this U-Haul in Philadelphia, is a Frank R. James, male, 62 years old, with addresses in Wisconsin and Philadelphia. We are endeavoring to locate him to determine his connection to the subway shooting, if any. The two crime scenes, the subway and the van, are very active and are still being processed. We are asking for anyone's help with information, cell phone video, witness information, or if they can identify the perpetrator or the renter of this vehicle, to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. There is a $50,000 reward out right now, $25,000 from the New York City Police Foundation, $12,500 from the MTA, and $12,500 from the TWA Local 100. I just want to assure everyone that we in the NYPD have all our resources working this, along with our partners in the FBI and the ATF, to find this perpetrator. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Driscoll. The mayor? Okay. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, we're ready for you.
Thank you, Commissioner and Chief. As we indicated, today was a difficult day for New York. And days like these are playing out too often in cities across America. As mentioned this morning, we witnessed an act of violence and evil in the heart of Brooklyn, where a shooter attacked a subway car full of innocent people at the 36th Street station. We saw a quiet Tuesday morning turn the N train into a war zone as a smoke bomb was detonated and multiple shots rang out. We witnessed 20 individuals have been injured so far, as it was mentioned. And thanks to the quick thinking of the MTA crew and the bravery and cooperation of passengers, lives were saved. And thanks to our first responders, the injured were quickly taken to area hospitals, and all of them are expected to recover. You know, I have been realistic and outspoken about my commitment to protecting public safety. I stand by that and will continue to do everything in my power to dam the rivers that feed the sea of violence. But this is not only a New York City problem. This rage, this violence, these guns, these relentless shooters are an American problem. And it's going to take all levels of government to solve it. It is going to take the entire nation to speak out and push back against the cult of death that has taken hold in this nation. A cult that allows innocents to be sacrificed on a daily basis. A country where buying weapons of mass destruction is as easy as picking up a piece of plywood or a garden shovel. A country where there are more guns than people. There are over 400 million guns in this country alone. The U.S. gun homicide rate is 26 times that of other high-income countries, where over 100 people die in gun violence every day. Guns are the leading cause of death for American children and teens, like the 16-year-old baby we lost in the Bronx. From schools in Columbine, Sandy Hook, and Virginia, to music festivals in Las Vegas, to nightclubs in Orlando, to movie theaters and yoga classes across the nation. These killers have used weapons of mass destruction to massacre innocent people. They control no armies or military forces, yet these individual killers terrorize our nation. I've often said that this city is not going to adapt to dysfunction. Ending gun violence means changing gun laws. We cannot clean up a flood when the water is still pouring into the basement. And we can never stop the killing if we cannot stop the guns. To be clear, we will not surrender our city to the violent few, and we will not surrender all of America to this cult of death. The sea of violence comes from many rivers. We must dam every river that feeds the greater crisis. That is the work of my life, this administration, and this police department. I will not stop until the peace we deserve becomes the reality we experience. You have my word as a former police officer, a fellow New Yorker, and your mayor, that we will end this epidemic, and that will capture the individual responsible for today's attack. We will capture him and prosecute him to the full extent of the law. Thank you, NYPD, FDNY, our first responders, and the collaboration from the federal government, the state, the city agencies.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to turn it over to Assistant Special Agent in Charge at the FBI in New York office, Michael Driscoll.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to start by expressing our hopes and prayers that the victims of this event will enjoy a quick recovery. They are our primary focus right now. I also want to echo the thanks for the partnership to the NYPD, the ATF, and all the partners who are contributing to this investigation. Right now, the FBI NYPD Joint Terrorism Task Force is fully engaged with this investigation, providing assistance through manpower, technical assistance, and basically everything we can throw at it. We expect the process to be a long one as we gather all possible information to track down all possible leads. And I would encourage you, as it was mentioned earlier, to please reach out to the NYPD tip line at 1-800-577-TIPS. And I would also add, as frequently the case in many of our current investigations, everyone's got a cell phone in their pocket. There's a lot of video out there. If you have digital information that you'd like to share with us in connection with this investigation, please visit fbi.gov/Brooklyn shooting, where you can upload that information. So we are seeking the public's help. You heard mentioned before of a name of possible interest. Videos would be particularly helpful, or any other additional witnesses who have yet to come forward that can provide information that might help this investigation. So thank you for your participation, and I thank everyone for their partnership in the course of the investigation. Thank you.
We'll take a couple of questions.
Yeah, Commissioner Sewell, is it the belief that he fled on foot after abandoning the van, or not?
We are not sure where he went at this point. That is subject to investigation. We have a number of resources that are combing on foot and doing video canvases as well to determine where he went.
I'm sorry. Commissioner, you posted videos online talking about being a victim to the mayor's mental health program. Can you talk to us about this? Do you know about that?
So based on some preliminary information, there were some postings possibly connected to our person of interest where he mentions homelessness, he mentions New York, and he does mention Mayor Adams. And as a result of that, in an abundance of caution, we're going to tighten the mayor's security detail.
So just to be clear, so this person, Frank James, he's not the person of interest that is in custody at this moment?
I'm gonna have to answer that.
We have no one in custody at this time. No, we are looking for Frank James. We know he rented this U-Haul van. The key of that U-Haul van was found at the crime scene in the subway.
And Mr. James made those social media posts?
We're pouring through that, but yes, correct.
And you believe he was the one in the train? Is that correct?
We are looking to determine if he has any connection to the train. We know Mr. James rented that U-Haul truck in Philadelphia.
And Mr. James made those threats online? That the commissioner was speaking about online?
Yeah.
So we're not calling them threats. He made some concerning posts, or someone made some concerning posts. We cannot attribute it to that individual yet. That's under investigation. But again, in an abundance of caution, we're going to tighten the mayor's security detail. That's all.
Rocco, Daily News?
Does he have connection? Does he have any connection at all? Is he a TA worker and any connection whatsoever to that subway station?
That is subject to investigation. We don't have that information yet.
Does he have a criminal record?
Go on. You guys said?
Does he have a criminal record?
Mr. James is just a person of interest we know right now who rented that U-Haul van in Philadelphia. The keys to that U-Haul van were found in the subway in our shooter's possessions. We don't know right now if Mr. James has any connection to the subway. That's still under investigation.
Chief Essex, do you have any what we call robust DNA evidence from the crime scene or van?
The crime scene's still being processed now. The van is being processed and the subway crime scene is being processed. But it's too early right now to tell.
City, Katie?
Can you explain where this U-Haul was located? Was it nearby? And also, I mean, you said you're investigating these videos, but can you confirm that it was him in the video or people that he knows? We're just trying to make that connection.
the video, the YouTube videos and the videos on there's a man who posted in there, Frank James. We're still working to see if that's our person who rented the video.
And where was he all located?
Kings Highway in Brooklyn,
Kings Highway, what intersection?
30 West 4th and Kings Highway.
Is there anything more you can tell us about the content of the posts? And I know you said it wasn't a direct threat against the mayor. Can you tell us anything he said about the mayor that caused you to do security detail?
There were general topics of concern, and I don't want to go into too many details about the mayor's security detail. We're just doing it just to be on the safe side.
Any other details about homelessness? You mentioned that you posted about homelessness.
Complaints about homelessness, complaints about New York, nothing in general. I'm sorry, just general comments that cause us some concern that are subject to investigation at this point.
Why were there no working surveillance cameras in the station? Why did police radios not work in the station? And how much did those factors hamper this investigation?
Yeah, we know that there were 3 stations that the video wasn't working. We're still investigating that to see why or how those, whether it was a mechanical problem, electrical issue, why those videos weren't up.
Police radios?
There was no issues with police radios in this.
Reports that one of the first officers on scene said his radio wasn't working, and he told one of the teenagers there to call 911.
Yeah, so patrol officers, so officers who work topside, if you will, in patrol precincts, when they go down the station, they have to switch frequencies. It's a UHF versus VHF. So if they didn't switch the radio over to the VHF frequency, they would not be able to transmit down in the subway station. So it's user error. It wasn't a problem with the actual radio.
Bloomberg News.
How many officers are assigned to the 36th Street station, and were there any officers in the station at all?
So we don't typically assign officers to subway stations. Officers patrol on a rotating basis. They ride trains, they come out, they patrol the stations. Patrol officers from the precincts stop, go down, they do station inspections. We've been doing that since January. So that station was patrolled several times today. There were no officers present in the station at the time of the shooting, but it had been patrolled several times on this calendar date prior to the shooting in the early morning hours.
Next question.
What do we know about Mr. James and his local ties to New York City?
Timmy?
We know Mr. James has addresses in Wisconsin and Philadelphia. As far as New York, it's still under investigation, but he's just a person of interest right now in this case.
When he entered the station, and is he on video anywhere after that?
We know the shooter was entered the station on Kings Highway. So we're asking for anybody who knows from Kings Highway to 35th Street is 8 stops. Anybody who sees him with any information, please call Crime Stoppers. We literally have hundreds of detectives out in the field right now pouring through video at train stations, the egresses, the recovery sites of the vehicle. So we hope to have clearer pictures of who we believe is the shooter.
2 more questions. CNN.
About the weapon that was recovered, has that been traced back to Mr. James at all? And is there any likelihood that, or how confident are investigators that he is the same person that pulled the trigger today?
That's as far as pulling the trigger, that's still under investigation. As far as the firearm is concerned, we know it's not part of a multi-sale. We know it's not stolen. We're working with our partners in the ATF to track back to the point of sale and then move forward on that gun.
Last question.
Your physical description of James doesn't match the description that's already been put out today?
Again, as I said, there was 2 smoke grenades thrown. We have various descriptions of height. I gave the description out of the man with the vest. We're looking through all possible leads on our person of interest.
I think if you look at our social media, you'll see 2 photos of the person of interest. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys for making that work.
They did their own job.
I know.
Answer that.